though the Republic has won many decisive battles against the Separatist army in the Outer Rim.
This first one being from the episode Jedi Crash, and this one from the episode Landing at Point Rain. And this one obviously from Grievous Intrigue, the last one we did. In case any of you are new here, check out the rest of our series or whatever.
The droid general managed to escape to the surface of the planet Seleucami.
This was also one of the planets in Revenge of the Sith during the Order 66 scenes. I think in the back of my mind, before the show, I assumed that was supposed to be the same person as the one they had for Adi Gallia in the movies, but apparently that was Master Stas Ali, and it was Commander Neo who shot her, who we'll see later on in Season 5. This is some Eth Koth Agent Kolar nonsense.
We must find a way off this planet before they find us.
I'm all about that cape drip Grievous has sometimes going on, but unless you had a backup in there, you definitely didn't have one in the last episode. I love that in the new Tales of the Empire series with Grievous, he's got it on during the invasion of Dathomir. It just looks so sick. Although, not to be that guy, he didn't have it on during the invasion in the Clone Wars. Dude is about to pull a damn rabbit out of that thing next, apparently.
We need to hurry and find an escape pod.
Speaking of that show, can we all take a second to appreciate how damn far the animation has come from these, like, weird 3-year-old paint stroke skies?
Instead of scattering our troops looking for all the...
Oh my god, guys, they're eggplants? Get it? Eggplant?
Instead of scattering our troops looking for all the escape pods, we shall head towards the wreckage of the landing transport first.
Well, that wasn't the best call. Too bad Obi-Wan didn't watch this episode first. The pacing seems a little weird for this show, though. I guess they really expect you to watch everything first, but I mean, if you'd never seen Grievous Intrigue, this would be like, oh damn, we're wasting no time getting to the bottom of this plot. Also, I want to say how funny it is that this episode is basically voiced by only James Arnold Taylor, Matt Wood, and D. Bradley Baker. Sorry, Sue. Sorry, Phil and Lil. I like how by just showing where they all landed, you get this, I don't know, tropical-ass, grassy area where Grievous is at, then you can kind of see those big weird-looking trees in the background, but Obi-Wan seems to land at more of a desert kind of vibe, as indicated by these weird palm trees and these random little balloon things, which, why ruin the surprise? I'll wind up telling you in a minute, I'm sure.
Our transmitter is destroyed.
Move your damn finger, alright. I can see R-E-T-T-A, then T-E. What the hell is this? A backwards M? Oh wait, never mind. It's all backwards, of course. So some T, then a T. I don't know. I tried, guys. This whole transcribing thing has really been a pain in the ass lately.
Find me some transportation.
Hey look, little Nuna running around. Hope no clones of Jango Fett roast you and put you on a dinner table or something. I guess other than Tatooine, we've seen them in places like Naboo, and I'm pretty sure more places that I'll definitely be talking about at some point. Oh damn, alright, you can see a little more of a drastic divide here between what looks like lush green fields and that desert area. Also, Obi-Wan, keep staring in that direction and you're gonna go blind. Look at the size of that damn sun. Ah, good old regular mode, infrared mode, zoom in, zoom out, max and min. Something about this shot just looks way off. And I don't mean to be that guy, but in the further away shot, the blues look totally different, but zoomed in, they kind of look the same.
I believe we've found Grievous's ship.
Who are they telling power low? As if that's just something they say out loud when that happens? Are they trying to tell Grievous? Anyway, here we have a Reek, as seen in some indie movie called Attack of the Clones or something, which apparently are native to Seleucami, but can someone explain to me how in God's name the B-1 battle droids managed to grab this thing? What? Also, these sorry-ass looking camel things are called Eopes, which we see Obi-Wan ride up on these farmers in some other indie movie you've probably never heard of. I guess both are native here, maybe. I love this little scoff he does at the droid just bitching. Although, get that mustache wax ready, bud.
We need to get our power recharged.
How could your power cells be so depleted?
You would allow us to close down for a few moments.
I love when someone says, oh my god, in Star Wars, man. It always makes me laugh, or...
What the hell was that?
Regardless if it somewhat breaks the immersion for me. It just makes me laugh thinking about Matt Wood doing this in the studio and then laughing like a bunch of nerds about it.
Any more complaints?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I thought.
Yikes.
I don't like this. This paint job. You can afford grass, Lucasfilm. I've seen it. This reminds me so much of those ugly-ass squares from Bounty Hunters that were supposed to be bales of crops or something. Also, whether or not you agree with me on the whole twirly mustachio villain thing, that shot he rides off with is cool as hell. Which, to recap, for those of you that wonder why I say that twirly mustachio thing in the first place, it's a common trope in stories where the bad guy is often shown as exaggerated, over-the-top, and cartoonishly evil. They're known for twirling said mustache and laughing evilly while screaming their wicked plans, and people tend not to like them because they're one-dimensional and kind of unrealistic. It's hard to connect with them or take them seriously because they lack any depth and come off as just predictable. To avoid making your villain a mustache twirler, you need to make them more complicated. Like, think about their reasons, their background, inner struggles, and show us why they're not just a stereotype of evil, but have relatable qualities. You hear that, Dave? You hear that, George? Like, you have to consider the effects of their actions on the world around them. By creating a well-rounded and believable baddie, George, you'll have a more interesting and memorable character. So consider this my job application, Lucasfilm. This thing right here looks gross. It looks like something that I'm pretty sure people have a phobia of.
This couldn't have happened too long ago.
Rex, take Jesse, Hardcase, and Kix and search those wetlands. Contact us before you engage.
Anyone else wish they showed us Jesse with less of his tattoos since this is his first appearance?
Rex is a smart man.
Indeed. Always thinking on his feet.
I love how much Dave is like, hey guys, you want to see the difference in the way the heroes treat their army versus the way Grievous treats his army? Huh? What I don't know if I love or not is the way that these speeders are so distinctly not the same blue as their armor. It looks like they straight up stole these things from Hauser. Psst, guys. If you look closely at these nub things, they're all the same asset, and so are these palm trees. Crazy, right? Can you imagine?
These droids are too gone to give us any good intel.
There's something that really doesn't look right about the sand these speeders kick up around them. Hang on, I think that's water, actually. All right, fine. I'll give it a pass. Also, if you manage to pause on this frame around 337, this looks really trippy, the way Rex's leg interacts with the blurred background, and this Windows 3D Movie Maker looking-ass speeder. I don't know, it gets weirder the longer I look at it. Thank God human legs don't work that way.
Take the shot.
Protect the captain!
I used to think this was some guy just busting ass back here for no reason, but now I realize it's Rex's speeder just crashing. I kind of wish it was just some other guy, like, oh my god, oh my god! Nice detail with that trail of smoke coming off the shot, Season 2. I'd hate to see you put this grass everywhere, though.
What do you have?
We've broken the access.
Look at this dude. Look at the top of his head.
I guess the hair is whatever, but why the eyebrows? You'd think he dyed it, and okay, I guess, fine, good job matching, but arguably the ugliest clone hairdo I've ever seen. Out here dyeing your eyebrows like Slim Shady. Wait, why didn't Rex get that memo? Ah, okay, here it is, let's see. Oh, it's transcribing time. I forgot we need to come up with a jingle for that. A-T-T-E-R-U-L. I don't know about these two. And some text? Wait, what?
Can you pinpoint the landing zone for the other pod?
I can put us within 2 to 3 clicks of it, sir.
Alert the men.
How bad? Pretty bad. Those snipers might have called for backup.
Okay, this one I know. Our good old pal Kix's head says, a good droid is a dead one. That's commitment right there. Clearly didn't see what happened in the Bad Batch coming, though.
Those critters are domesticated.
A shrewd observation.
Where there's a farm, there's usually a farmer.
A shrewd...
So, the Quain residence. There's so many random ass similarities to the assets they use in the Bad Batch, but of course, not all of them. Which you'd think, maybe it's a couple things here and there, but no, of course it's not. These trees behind the barn are only 2 back here. Then in the Bad Batch, basically an entire forest of them just comes out of nowhere. These little Cheeto things are good. I don't know if that's supposed to be the trees themselves, but they're there. Then by the barn, they have these little flag things that spin around and these little plant things back here. They even got the same wheelbarrow ass thing chilling in the exact same spot, but for some reason in Bad Batch decided to take out this wavy sheet metal thing and add this box with the lights, and presumably had enough money to animate more grass finally. The outside of the house stays generally the same, but with some differences. They got the rips in the house somewhat the same. They make it look less like paper in the Bad Batch though, and added this little guy on right here, and for some reason decided it was unacceptable for this one on the left to completely tear down to the bottom of the house and tweaked it a little bit in Bad Batch. The textures are different overall, but then you have all this crap right here along the bottom that's exactly the same, but retextured. Beside for what's on the left, for whatever reason, they have the exact same paint jobs. The planks of wood that make up the steps look screwed on in the front in this show, but are screwed on the sides in the Bad Batch and repainted, which just raises so many more questions than answers, because if you look at these watermarks on the side of the house, over here on the left of the house, they're the same. And I thought maybe they were shadows from the hay or whatever on top, because the ones to the right of the Clone Wars one look different, but that doesn't exactly explain the left side being identical. The little hanging balcony thing has a different texture too. These big ass flower things on the right here here are the same, though, if we ignore the giant-ass forest that came out of nowhere behind it. The windows don't exactly check out either. The one on the left of the door might be the same design, but for some reason they decided to flip it, maybe? And then you have this weird black stuff around it that almost looks identical, but then off to the right, they're way bigger in Bad Batch. Why is this happening? The inside of the house is hard to tell. They got the table in the right place, to the left of the door at least, but I couldn't spot this weird flag in the background. What is it anyway, exactly? They got the weird piece of what looks like a ship along the stairs though, as Omega looks at Wood and it's just like, what the fuck? They got it right down to this weird piece of metal next to this dangly wire thing. In Bad Batch though, to the left of the door, the window said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." And they changed up the wall and added this cool shelf over here. I say all of this and you're probably all thinking, dude, you're a fucking moron. They use the same assets. But if that's the case, what's with these little changes? This is a completely different tabletop. What's the point in changing the smallest details? To give me the chance to have an overanalyzing channel? I mean, thanks, I guess, but I'm left with far more questions than answers. I don't know why you're all here wasting your time on this with me, but thanks. Thanks for being here.
We're here as friends.
State your business.
Our captain's been hurt.
I'm no doctor.
We just need a place to tend him overnight.
Mommy, get back inside, both of you.
Yeah, Phil and Lil, the hell you doing out here right now? All right, well, I guess just Jack, but damn it, the voice actress, Kath Soucie, can never fly under the radar for me. Obviously, she does more than Phil and Lil from Rugrats, but it's like D. Bradley Baker. All I would ever hear him if I heard his voice is the clones, and it's like Steve Blum always being Spike Spiegel to me. Fight me, guys. I'm a 90s baby. What can I say? Honestly, do you think the kids know that their dad is a clone? Or are they just like, what the fuck is happening? How did they not go, Dad, the fuck did you do to your weird-ass haircut? Also, side note, how many of you guys thought that these kids were biologically his when you saw this? I know I did, and it seems like that's what they were going for, but at the very least, half human for sure. But timeline-wise, obviously, it doesn't add up unless they somehow were blessed with the aging genetics as well, like their dad. I mean, I don't think that's how this make-believe process works, but what the hell do we know? What is this X design on their speeders? Whatever it is, you bet your sweet ass these assets are the same thing. Copy and pasted, baby!
There are some benches out back in the barn. It's the best I can do.
Thank you.
This actually says first aid on it. Yeah, I guess that checks out.
What happened? Commando droids took a pot shot that would have gone straight through your heart had it been 2 inches to the left.
I guess this Band-Aid thing kind of covers it, but the way it's sitting, it makes you think it was more towards dead center, right? Also, this is the first time we hear inches used in Star Wars, I think. It's usually metrics, even though Obi-Wan has used miles before, so I have no idea. Also, this is supposed to be hard case, right? What was the point in changing his tattoo design later on to veer over this eyebrow? It's weird, right?
I can't move my arm. You have some nerve damage. Now.
And then you get this shot of the wound, which has it presumably coming out from the right side. At least I assume that this line is supposed to be his spine, which, if it didn't go through him, what gives? Did he pull an Aang and just, like, land on a rock right there or something?
Patch me up and let's get on with it. Sir, you're in no condition. We're getting underway, Geeks. When it comes to the health of the men, including you, I outrank everyone.
That stank-ass defeated face, man. Got him.
Excuse me.
No, excuse me. Oh my god, you guys. That's literally the same bouncy ball design from Rugrats. Why have I never noticed that? I swear, this show just gets better and better for me. Screw common sense. I'm here for the Rugrats references.
I told you to stay in the house.
You gotta wait. You look like my daddy.
See, there's no way he told them about the clones. What the hell took you so long, kid? Not very observant, are you? I should have mentioned this earlier, but another thing I thought about when I first saw this is, if it's not Cut that's their real dad, what if it was Django who had these kids with Sue, and she's like, where the fuck you been, and what happened to your hair, dude?
Do you require anything else?
No. Thank you, Sue. Resume the search without me.
2 full moons? Jesus, nobody tell Overanalyzing Avatar about this.
Captain Rex, come in, please.
It's Jesse, sir. Rex was injured.
What's his condition?
I'm sure this reaction was intentional, having James Arnold Taylor seem very concerned about Rex, and it's a nice touch considering not only how smart and valuable Rex is to the war, but being Anakin's captain was just a nice detail in my opinion. You'd imagine he wouldn't be as concerned if it was somebody like Wolf or something. I just like the connection with Anakin there.
He'll be fine.
It's small, but that green lighting up the helmet is a welcome to tempt, baby Lucasfilm. What a long way they've come.
We're headed to the west.
I thought you said west.
Roger that, sir. We're speeding towards you.
We were just cruising towards you before, but now we really mean business. You smell
like my daddy.
We should be there by now.
There, almost.
You had better be interpreting the coordinates correctly.
that crouch man gets me every time.
Losing power.
Who are you?
I guess Cut does look way older than Rex, and the hairstyle doesn't really help, but we have this ugly-ass dude later on in the Boba Fett episode, which makes me just... What the hell are these guys thinking if this was a choice?
What are you doing here? You're a clone. What's your number and rank? My name is LeQuain, Cut LeQuain, and I'm just a simple farmer.
Why does Cut have a last name exactly? Was that Sue's? Does Rex have a secret last name? This moment is honestly one of my favorites for Rex. Rex knows full well how he's addressing him, asking for his number and rank instead of his name. It makes me think back to Cloak of Darkness when the clones called the droid 327 by a nickname instead of his full title, saying that droids don't like to be called by their nicknames. Obviously, a comparison to clones not liking being called by their numbers rather than their chosen nicknames. And we see this thread through the Bad Batch as well, with Rampart not caring enough to call the clones by their own actual names. So Rex specifically not asking for his name is just the first sign of his development in this episode, in my opinion. His utter contempt and disgust at the idea of a clone abandoning the war makes for great character development later on. I'm sure we'll circle back to this, but with clones like Slick in The Hidden Enemy, it's different. Slick not only abandoned the clones by betraying them, but he genuinely thought he was doing right by them by going against the Jedi establishment. Cut's a different case though, and I'm sure Rex probably thought he'd never need to prepare for all this. I do kind of wish that they talked about that Slick thing though. It could have fleshed everything out a little bit more. It's weird that they don't circle back to that in this episode at all. It's like basically the same situation.
You're a deserter. I like to think I'm merely exercising my freedom to choose not to kill for a living.
3 hours later.
That is not your choice to make.
You guys see the flies hanging out around the lights in the window? That's a nice little detail. Stupid ass windows. I'd hate to see you put this grass everywhere though.
I have a duty to my family. Do you still plan to turn me in? Do I have a choice? We all have a choice.
What a great payoff in Rebels. This man has learned so damn much. Say what you want, how you feel about this show, or Rebels, but don't tell me the clones aren't at least a little bit consistent with how they're developed. Even if more could have been added to it, they did a pretty good job in my opinion. Most of my misgivings come with what they didn't add, not necessarily about what they did.
Look what I drew you, Dad.
That's great, Jack.
Also, I love the little wholesome moment here, but that drawing is terrible. It's almost as ugly as that weird Twi'lek on Ryloth with no eyebrows that still isn't Hera, guys.
He looks just like you, Daddy. I told them.
Ah, I was just making our guest Captain, what's your number? Rex. I also have a name.
Got him.
He was injured. I told him he could stay just for the night.
Of course he can.
Always help anyone we can.
Right.
Man, clones sure do like these little turkey things, huh? You'd think this were a fruit in its mouth, but this just looks like another one of those Rugrats balls. Weird. I don't know about these pear-looking things, but here we have what looks like those plants on not only Rhodia, but in Defenders of Peace also. I don't know if I missed any, but they're called Pula Blossoms, apparently. And Wikipedia has to up their game. This is absolutely the same plant, which, hello? Is this just how Star Wars plants work? You can just grow them anywhere? Anyone got anything on what this flag thing is in the back? Maybe it's Cut's old squad logo? I don't know.
You have a name rather than a number, Captain. Perhaps our leaders feel it's a more efficient way of distinguishing us. I doubt the Hammarnootz think that way. The name has to make you feel unique. Actually, I've never really thought about it. I am as close to you as any life form can be.
Speaking of, you think Cut still has those nightmares that all the clones talk about? Clearly Order 66 didn't reach him, and even if it did, what do you think would happen?
I've seen how you look at my family, our home.
Especially my wife.
What if I'm staying in the army because it's meaningful to me? I'm part of the most pivotal moment in the history of the Republic. If we fail, then our children and their children could be forced to live under an evil I can't well imagine.
Just wait until you watch The Bad Batch, my guy. You know, Rex really is a real one.
If you were to have children, that would be against the rules, wouldn't it? Isn't that what somebody programmed you to believe? It's simply what I believe. Doesn't matter if it's my children or other people's children. To each his own. That's what I always say.
How are you doing?
Armadillo! You remember that part where they were just cruising and decided to haul ass finally? Well, you'll never believe this, but you bet your sweet overanalyzing ass, it's literally the same shot reused.
Is your transmitter working?
I don't know. I haven't used it yet.
Stupid battle droids. I am the leader of the most powerful droid army the galaxy has ever seen.
Sir, you made it.
I love the sheer surprise of this droid like, oh damn bro, OM5 owes me 10 credits on that bet.
We need to get a shuttle down here immediately.
There are multiple life forms approaching from the east and west.
Good move.
I love that they're playing Dejarik, or whatever. The first time we see it is in A New Hope, obviously, on the Millennium Falcon, and they absolutely didn't need to make it look this janky. Back then in the movie, it was really the only way George could afford to make it, and they were apparently going to make it smoother in the show, but Dave said, nah, fam, and insisted on making it the same way it appeared in A New Hope with the stop-motion animation-like quality. And I'm kind of glad they did it, because technology can already look so shitty sometimes in Star Wars, even though it's so advanced, so I don't know, it was a nice touch.
So what was it?
So are those motes of dust floating around in the light. Good job, animation team.
Good job.
What made me decide to leave the Corps? Shortly after the Battle of Geonosis, our troop transport got caught between two separatist gunships. Most of us were either dead or severely injured. So when they started working their way through the wounded, I knew there was no hope. It still haunts me.
I'm sorry, but I take major issue with this. You're basically telling me that every other clone we've seen so far is capable of the same thing? And yeah, it sucks to be you, but you're a soldier. We've seen so many of your brothers die in helpless situations willingly. That's what soldiers do. Explore the ethics of it all you want, but why did you make our boy look like such a baby-back bitch, Dave? I guess if you died, Dave and George would have never been able to give Rex this perspective, but I'm just saying, man, you have this guy, and then clones like Mayday in the Bad Batch. Oh, what a difference. Dude lost everything and is still like, yeah, I guess this is what soldiers do.
I was just another expendable clone, waiting for my turn to be slaughtered in a war that made no sense to me. Can you understand that, Rex?
Hello? Is your back not on fucking fire right now? Is it even cold? You're all wearing no sleeves. What's happening?
Can we go outside and play?
Only for a few minutes.
Okay.
And keep the house in view.
We will.
I know you think I'm a coward, Rex. I'll fight to my last breath to keep them safe.
All right, hold that thought about the motes of dust looking cool. I guess they didn't have the budget to keep animating them over here, after all. Must have spent it on those 5 blades of grass from earlier. Are you serious? Why does this dust move? I like this shot where we follow the rocket launch. It reminds me of season 3 in the ARC Troopers episode. Only in this one, we're supposed to feel like it's being shot at us since we're the good guys, obviously. And in that episode, we see the reverse as we shoot down the enemy. It's subtle, but it was definitely an intentional choice.
Great shot! He's right.
Shia, where are you?
I swear, man, why do you have a different moon? What, did it turn in the sky? I will never understand why animation does what it does.
What is it? It wasn't there before. It's some kind of spaceship, I think. Hello?
At least this is the same one we just saw, jeez. Although upon further inspection, it is the same one from earlier, but for some reason, it's just flipped now. Just when we thought moon continuity couldn't get any worse. Yeah, this is some nightmare fuel ass lighting, man. I'd probably scream too. That bitch, man, just watches him fall and is like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm getting the hell out of here.
They're chasing us.
What monsters? Anywhere?
They hatched from the big egg in the field.
I count 20.
Sue, get the kids upstairs.
What weapons do you have? We can catch them in a crossfire.
So did Cut take Rex's pistol and hide it? We see them leave him one by his side earlier. I don't know. I always wondered whether or not he just happened to sport the same kind of pistol as Rex in the war, making them even more similar. Which I get, obviously, Rex didn't just go to some pawn shop to buy it, but it makes sense that he might have one too. I don't know, whatever.
You take that corner. With respect, you're not in charge here. I can be useful. You have only one good arm. I need you to be the last line of defense for my family. I'll take care of them.
Why turn the lights off? They're already coming, my dude. And I feel like they don't even need lights to begin with, but you probably do. I don't want to hear it that this is the reason the windows changed. While yes, if this is our left window in question, we literally see it back to normal at the end of this episode as Rex rides off into the sunset. What kind of dumbass windows are these anyway? Just to keep big fucking animals from crawling through? You could literally have just made shutters out of all the crap you got lying around on the porch. Stupid ass windows.
Finally!
Are you ready to depart?
I'm officially taking a mental note of the dirt on these windows. I promise I'll try my hardest to remember if we see it later on in the show. Because we've seen that cockpit asset from Cloak of Darkness and again in the Geonosis arc. And it's different ships, but you bet your ass are the same windows, judging by the dirt on it.
Hey, they're shooting at us. Coming back around.
Boy, these guys sure know their maneuvers.
General, behind you!
Where exactly does this hatch lead to? I don't know. The way it looks like the rest of the basement is just outside the house seems weird to me considering there's no indication of a structure outside. Oh, hang on, never mind. This is the back door apparently. But I still don't see anything, but that also puts a wrench in our window theory. Not that it mattered anyway. Wait, here are those shells I think they showed in Bad Batch, but different bottles of ketchup are on there. And while Hunter's big ass head might be blocking that window, they decided to take the bookshelf thing away? I don't know, man. What the hell is going on? Maybe that explains the new table they got. I don't know. I'm not buying it. This always gives me so much anxiety. I'm sure these things are capable of squeezing a human head like a melon and popping it, which seems like the intention. Thank God this is a kids show, because the droids could easily be rated R. The way his eyes go red looks pretty cool too. So not unlike the Move It we heard at Landing Point Range being one that they reused at a different point in time, this is absolutely the same grunt between the two of them. And I'm sure it's not the first or the last time. I mean, look at the way Rex is rubbing his neck. How the hell was Cut just like, yeah, whatever. You squeeze like a bitch. Dude has a head made of steel, I swear.
Fire the engines!
And twirl my mustachio while you're at it, will you?
Jedi scum!
We're right back where we started. Call the cruisers. See if they can stop that ship. And tell them to send someone to pick us up.
I love the sheer defeat in his voice when he asks for them to call an Uber.
Are you going to turn in my husband?
It's my duty. But in my condition, I probably won't remember any of this.
Thank you.
Captain Rex, are you still with us?
Still with you, and thankfully on the mend, sir.
We certainly missed you at the party.
Sorry, sir, I
had to attend one of my own. You're welcome to stay, Rex. My family is elsewhere.
Man, what a fantastic shot to end the episode on. You know, this episode used to be one of my favorites, and it still kind of is, but I feel like they did our boy Rex Saturday cartoony vibes kind of dirty, which I guess makes some sense, but they already had the setups in episodes with, say, Slick, who saw the clones as slaves to the Jedi and the Republic, and should be able to make their own choices. And we, as the audience, know what happens, so we understand that he kind of has a point, although it was executed with also Saturday cartoony kind of vibes. But you have to imagine that would have an impact on Rex and all the other clones that found out, and we never get any hints of that on his mind. Then you have Cut over here, who clearly didn't have any reservations with keeping up with the clones, since he somehow, after deserting right after the Battle of Geonosis, just for some reason has the Bad Batch on speed dial? Seriously, how does that happen? Anyway, he just, I don't know, didn't seem to care much about his unit at all. He made it seem like they hadn't killed everyone yet, but they were going down the line and they almost got to him, and he just said, fuck this shit, I'm out, and just left all his brothers there to die? It's weird and a less evil version of Slick, but man, it's still so sloppy in my opinion. If I could just make one change, Dave, George, I'd make it to where when the droids were killing Cut's unit, he was the very last one on the chopping block. So after deserting, he wasn't leaving any of his brothers behind, rather abandoning the conditioning of the Republic and the Kaminoans. It's small, but I mean, at least it gives us something, other than him just dreaming more about farms than the typical Django number 10,000, 1500. I'm not saying that's terrible or anything, but in general, it would have been nice to see some of these arcs the clones have kind of weave together a little more to give us more through lines, baby. That being said, I do enjoy the point of view where we question what would happen if there wasn't a war for the clones. It's one of my favorite things that happens every once in a while in this show, which should have happened far more in my opinion. We're currently exploring that a little bit more in Star Wars with shows like The Bad Batch if you watch it, but there's been so many different episodes of this show that touch on the loyalty of the clones to the Republic and what it would mean if the war either didn't exist or they chose a different path. On paper, I'd live for those kind of moments, and this wasn't horrible, I guess, in that regard, but Cut's a bitch, and we'd be dead if all of our soldiers did this, so good job, Rex and crew. Patron shoutouts! If you want to see the next episode of OSW early, probably, hopefully, consider becoming a patron. Link, as always, in the description down below. Nobody gets a bigger shoutout than fucking Drakmir! The only other survivor of Cut's last mission survived by actually fighting the battle droids off single-handedly as he watched Cut run away, screaming like a little bitch, yapping on about some ice cream parlor or something that he was gonna go check out after he started a farm. Mr. Shuffle, part of the clone army also, whose sole responsibility was to train the clones to be able to punch sheet metal point blank, giving us a few random clones being able to just straight knock out battle droids or Grievous. And he also suggested implanting metal plates around their skulls, just in case a droid tries squeezing them. And Jeremy Rubenstein, a Kaminoan who, upon finding out about Schnuff's doings, realized this created a problem with a certain inhibitor chip, then decided the best course of action was to have our good old pals Alice and Brick finish them off while sleeping soundly in the bunks of Tapoka City. That explains it, I guess. More huge shoutouts go out to my single commander, William Lynch. One of the designers of the Republic Army decided that the clone tank gunners just didn't look cool enough to be sitting in those tanks as is, and made their armor to have a bunch of holes in them, and their helmets the armadillos we all know and love today. More huge shoutouts go out to my Master Jedis, Devil Boy X, the most devilish of boys to ever walk the planet planet of Coruscant got a lot of attention from Ki-Adi-Mundi, who kept mistaking them for some secret Sith we just found out about a few weeks ago. Marcus Fleischer, a Jedi Temple Guard who didn't quite like the color yellow, decided to try and change the color of his lightsaber by thinking hard enough about a different color, and then he told Disney how to do it. Nephorax, being part Togruta, part hamster, had the best smelling nose this side of the mid-rim until a certain Basil showed up and sniffed way better, dethroning them for good. R. McNasty01, a Jedi with the nastiest beats this side of the galaxy, got a full-time job as a DJ in Dex's secret underground nightclub, where they finally caught Kenobi selling death sticks after taking this sleazebaganago or whatever's job. Salsis Fullpace, the manager of that nightclub, secretly in cahoots with Obi-Wan trying to get more people to buy his death sticks, was last seen putting ads up all around the underworld for suspicious food vendors. And Varium, intrigued by said ads, decided that their infamous ice cream empire would be better suited laced with death sticks in them. Applied for a job immediately and then changed the underworld ice cream game forevermore. More huge shoutouts go out to my Jedi Knights: Nick B, Nitro, Corchin, Taco Llama, and Her Totcher. I'm not even gonna go into the whole thank you for being here, sorry it took so long. I've tried to keep you guys updated if you're in the Discord or the Patreon server, so we'll just keep it that way. I'll probably be doing a live stream at some point, and you guys can ask me all the questions you want, but it's probably too long for a patron shoutouts video. But I do want to say thank you to everyone who's ever been here or ever been a patron or any of that kind of stuff. As you can imagine, me being gone for the past few months, it's been a little difficult, to say the least, but things are looking up again, and I should be uploading a little bit more consistently in the future. I love you all, you're beautiful, despite what everyone says, and I'll see you in the next one.